welcome to the live session of Aussizz Group.
Thank you very much for that and appreciate for the session today.
Definitely. So we'll just wait for a while so that we have viewers in our live session. Then we will gradually start our session.
Absolutely. Yep. No worries at all. I see you have a lot of logos behind in your background with lovely messaging on it, like people-centric, diversity and inclusion, teamwork. Very good.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks to all our marketing team.
Yeah, but these are the objectives. These days, most of the organizations, I believe, should, include in their regular structure as well. Like at the university, we have a lot of, such goals, if I may put it that way.
Yeah.
So slowly, steadily, and together, we all work towards it.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. Um. Yep. I think we should start the session now. Yeah.
Sure.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to our live session today. I am Sailu Maharzan, an education consultant at Aussizz Group Sydney branch. And today we are going to have a live session with our special guest joining from Macquarie University, Miss Jarna Saha. Welcome, Jarna.
Thank you very much, Shalu.
And thank you for giving us your valuable time. Today we will be having few questions which were raised in during our consultation sessions with our students. So we will be discussing those queries. So we will be having a question and answer sessions where I'll be asking you few queries that our students has raised. Are you ready to go with it?
Absolutely. Can't wait.
Okay, so let's start with our first question. So, yes, before we start, tell us about Macquarie University, about its
Sure.
establishment dates and the university location, campus, and all the stuff.
Absolutely. So, Macquarie University is based in Sydney. In Sydney, we're not on the outskirts, in the city of Sydney, where we have two main campuses, or I should say one main campus, and the other one is a smaller campus, which is in CBD. So, the main campus is situated in North Ryde, which is one of the northwest suburbs of Sydney, where we have a very, very massive campus of 126 hectares huge, where we have all student facilities and the teaching facilities and everything situated, where most of the programs are taught as well, including undergrad, postgrad, research programs, and the rest as well. So that is where most of the students come and study. We also have a smaller setup in CBD, Sydney CBD, which is on Pitt Street, and that is basically just for MBA and Masters of Applied Finance students. So they study some of the units at the city campus, but as I mentioned earlier as well, all other programs are taught at the main campus, which is in North Ryde. Now, if we talk about the university establishment, we were set up in 1964. So next year, in 2024, we celebrate 60th year of the university, and it's going to be a big celebration at the university, which we are very proud of. So yes, we are one of the young universities, not very, very old, but the way we have set up and the way a university has managed to, still hold on to the values and grow exponentially is absolutely commendable. So we'll talk through some of these, while we are chatting about the programs and other facilities for the students as well. But yeah, so that's what Macquarie is all about. Again, a very large public university which offers most of the undergrad, postgrad, and research programs which most students would be interested in studying. So happy to discuss those today.
Definitely, definitely. And it's a very good news that Macquarie University is completing 6 years. Wow. Congratulations for that.
Thank,
Uh,
thank you very
so
much.
how about Macquarie University rankings in terms of nationally and internationally among the universities overall here in Australia?
Absolutely. So, that's a very good question as well, and kind of one of my favorite questions because the current rankings, which we're talking about 2024 rankings already out by QS and Times Higher Education both. So, if I talk about QS rankings, Macquarie University has jumped quite a few places in rankings, and we are on 130th in the world now. So that puts us in 1% of the universities in the world, and that itself is incredible achievement. Being in top 130 in the world is absolutely no small thing. So that is what we are incredibly proud of, and that also puts us in top 10 in Australia. So that's remarkable. Of course, Australia has very limited universities. We all know we have 40 to 42 universities only. But being in top 10 is basically showing the commitment of the university towards students and its teaching excellence as well.
Yeah. So, coming towards the support for an international student, it has been a huge question for an international student when looking for a university overseas. So, what are the support that Macquarie University provides for an international student in terms of housing, libraries, health services, and other programs that help international student to enhance and build their career?
Right. So, let us start with something which I always talk about that an international student, when they decide to study in Australia, want to study an undergrad, postgrad, or research program at the university, they have a lot of confusion in their mind. If they have not traveled to Australia at all, then the first confusion is if they'll be able to settle in well in Australia or not. Right, or if they'll have a cultural shock or not. So, what as a university we do is when a student arrives to the campus for the first time. In the first week, where we call it as O week, we have the orientation for all the students. Now, this orientation is not always group orientation only, of course. There are group activities where there are a lot of stalls for students to understand what all is offered to them at the university. But there are one on one sessions, there are campus tours, there are library tours. And one very important thing that we do at the university is we also have buddy mentoring. So, new arriving international students can buddy up with students who've already been studying at the university, and they will be able to help new students understand what is to be done at the university. Because I can totally understand when they arrive how confusing it is to find a library in such a big campus. How do I access the library? How do I use my student card? Where do I go if I have to open a bank account? How do I, look for student services if I have any problem with any of the units that I've enrolled in? So many questions, right? So we try to answer these questions at O Week, where we have amazing student ambassadors, helping new international students all throughout, absolutely. But after O Week as well, they can go for peer mentoring, where they can get all the answers to their question. They can go to student services and ask for help. They can book one-on-one consultation with the experts where they want to discuss any issues that they are going through. So that kind of support is provided by the university, which is very well, received. Now, in terms of facilities, if we talk about, as I mentioned, it's a very large university. So every facility that a student can think of provided on campus, including on campus accommodation. We do have six on campus accommodation, but then to looking at the size of the university, sometimes we feel the accommodation are lesser. So, what we advise the students to apply early if they want to live on campus. Having said that, there are a lot of off campus accommodation options available around the university as well. As I mentioned earlier, that we are based in North Ryde. North Ryde itself is one of the residential suburbs. There are a lot of options around the university campus and other residential suburbs around the campus as well, which probably can be one or two bus rides away as well. So, accommodation options are there. Students need to block their accommodation as soon as they apply for the visa or have the confirmation from the university, is what I'll advise in terms of securing an accommodation. Other facilities, of course, a very beautiful robotic library. We call it robotic because it's an automated retrieval system of the books, which, of course, when a student comes to the university, they explain exactly well how do they, use the library. We have lovely sports and aquatic center where we have swimming pool, gym, all the sport facilities that students can, engage in. They can avail as well. More than 150 student clubs So it's not only about studies or networking, it's about a lot of fun as well. Adventure, music, dance, whatever they like, they can enroll themselves in those clubs, and they're like network of people, other students from so many different nationalities and cultural background. They get to meet and they can be friends with. So very vibrant environment is what we try to give it to all international students. So it's not about just study, study, study. There's a lot of fun and other activities as well.
Definitely, it's a good thing for a student to have a friend circle and everything. And to be very honest, when I was new here, like I also had a similar kind of situations because the study system and everything is completely different than what we study in our home country, you know. So yes, definitely that support would be like Macquarie University provide that support to all the students, which is really helpful to grow and understand the study structure here in Australia, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, the academics as well, and this actually I forgot to mention when I was talking earlier, even academics are so helpful that as new student, if you have to go to an academic and say that you need help, they will make special time to talk to a student so that they can make sure that whatever problem they have or the struggle that they are facing, they can try to help them one on one as well. So they're absolutely very, very hands on, very supportive. So incredibly good environment provided to the students.
Yes. So, as Macquarie University is quite popular university among international students, so would you like to tell us about the popular courses provided by Macquarie University?
Sure. So, if you're talking about popularity of courses, I think our business programs absolutely top the chart because we have almost every business program that you can ask for in terms of banking and finance, business analytics, international business, accounting. We're probably talking about even commerce and a lot of majors in commerce like economics, statistics, and the rest. So that is very, very popular, be it undergraduate level or postgraduate level for sure. So typically, undergrad degrees are 3 years at business school, and postgrad degrees are between 1 to 2 years. Students have an option to opt 1.5 year, or 2 years master's degree program. So these are very popular options. Another, faculty or other stream that is catching up and is getting very popular is I don't think I have to say this, but STEM programs, IT engineering programs.
Mhm.
They are absolutely fabulous the way they are designed at the university. Like if you're talking about engineering programs, they're gaining popularity like anything because they are project-based learning programs. So it's not just sitting in the classroom and listening to your professor teaching you. They're very project-based. So you go into the classroom, you start studying a particular program, for example, and or it's other way around actually, my bad. So they go into the project based learning where they are doing something and working on a project, say for example building a robot, and they get stuck somewhere because they can't do anything further than that. That is where your academic will say that that is because you need to go back to your classroom and study discrete mathematics, for example. So they go to the class, study discrete mathematics, come back, and then they work on their project again to complete it. So it's very PBL, project based learning method that we have, so very popular. Same with IT programs, science-based programs like biotechnology, human biology, or we're talking about biomolecular sciences, health-related programs, medicine, chiropractic, very, very popular again, not only in Australia, but international students as well, especially in Southeast Asia, China, and all those places as well. So that's very popular if you're talking about some of the major programs. Apart from that, our Faculty of Arts have some amazing programs in media and communication, and creative writing, creative industries as well, which are very popular in South Asia, some of the South Asian countries, and of course Southeast Asian countries as well. So in all, university mostly have all programs that international students would ask for to study and have a really good career.
Well, so talking about all the courses, like, definitely Macquarie University has so many courses, but like, would you like to tell us about the entry requirement for these courses and, in terms of English, in terms of academics, and what are the popular intakes for these courses?
Sure, Shalu. So, in terms of entry requirement, most of the program requirement would vary a bit. So, it was very hard to tell you that this is hardcore requirement. But as a guideline, a basic guideline for undergrad courses, will ask for year 12, HSC score, which is between 70 to 85%. As I said, varies a lot based on the program. For post graduation, we'll ask for percentage, which is between 60 to 70%. Depends if you're going into a business program, IT program versus medicine related or health related program as well. So that's like a basic, requirement as far as percentage of, previous qualification is concerned. As most of the programs, very standard requirement of 6.5 bands out of 9, with no subscore less than 6. But some program has special requirements. For example, Masters of Teaching program, it has a very high requirement of English for obvious reasons, because they are dealing with Australian kids and they need to be very proficient at English. So the student has to achieve those, different requirements as stated, as well if that's special requirement. In terms of the intakes, we have regular two intakes, which is in February. The closest one is Feb intake now, and then July intake. These are two standard intakes for most of our programs. But for MBA program, which is not a freshers program, by the way, for MBA, we need work experience, and that starts 4 times in a year: January, April, June, and September. So every quarter, if I have to put it that way. So that's a special entry, but otherwise, most of the programs in Feb and July.
Yeah. Okay. So almost babies nearby. So definitely would love to
Yeah,
ask our viewers to have a hands up application ready for Macquarie University if you're looking forward for applications.
yeah. Can
Now,
you believe it's almost end of the year, right?
yeah, it just looked like yesterday we had a
Exactly,
yeah.
and we're talking about Feb 2024 intake now.
Definitely. And even I think a lot of students have started their applications for Feb intake already. So yep, going good. Looking forward for more. And like earlier you mentioned about PPL, right? So would love to know a little more about that. And also like what are the, how Macquarie University helps students in terms of placement. I know there are a lot of courses which include placements and internships, such things in courses itself. So how does Macquarie University help in placement for the students? And is Macquarie
Right.
University is with partnership with industries in similar field, or how does it work?
Absolutely. So, when we're talking about internships, so internships and placement are two different terminologies for us. Just to make it clear, internships or practical experience or hands on training is normally part of the program. So, most of our undergraduate program will have some sort of practical training in either second or third year of the program or the final year program, if it's a 4 year program, where one scenario is where they will go to a particular organization who we partner with, and they will have their internship for whatever, if it's 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever the duration is. So that can be one particular scenario. But other scenario is where the companies come to the university with their real time project and problem, and the students work on the solution in the classroom with the help of their mentors and of course the organization who've come to us as well. So practical training can be either ways. There's not one set pattern of internship where you just go to that particular organization and you intern with them. It can be other way around where they come to the university as well. So you need to keep your mind open when it comes to practical experience and internship. There's a lot of different ways you can do internships. Right. So that is mostly there. Most of our postgraduate programs have some sort of practical training in it, where either, as I say, similar thing, they work on a project or they have some sort of situation or a project being given by the industry or their academics as well. Um, Sorry, the second part of the question was about, okay, how do we do that? So one good thing about Macquarie University, and I think it's very unique, no other Australian university have this. Macquarie University has MPID, which is called Macquarie Park Innovation District, surrounded surrounding the university, where basically it's a corporate park, a tech park. We call it as High Tech Crescent Park, where we have more than 400 companies who sit around the campus. Right, so university have really good connection with some of these companies, where they always interact with each other in terms of setting up new programs, structuring the programs based on the current job requirements in the market, or even talking about practical experience projects and internships as well, and also research opportunities, because we have some pharma companies like AstraZeneca, for example. So that kind of discussion goes on with the company. So what I'm trying to say is the university design the programs which are job ready, because they're designed with the help of companies who are there to tell us that these are the skills required, uh, for this particular job in the industry, or they will hire these type of graduates having this particular skill set. So that makes it very easy for the academics to then design the programs in a way that they become more employable. So that's a very good thing about the university. And probably that is one of the reasons where Macquarie University's graduate employment rate, according to QS employability ranking, is number one in Sydney. Where it is basically about the graduate outcomes after the students have graduated from the university.
Wow, that's great. Actually,
Yeah.
that's really great to know that, higher range of graduate entries and all those stuff. So the Macquarie University graduates are getting a good opportunity in real life industry because of their program structure. So last but not least, our main questions. So does Macquarie University offer any kind of scholarship or financial aid opportunities for international students?
Absolutely. We have a very good scholarship, which I think we are offering since last 2 or 3 years now. And we are going to continue this in 2024 as well, which is called Early Acceptance Scholarship of $10,000 each year. Now, if international student, by the way, it's nationality based. So students coming from South Asia, India and South Asia, students coming from Southeast Asia, they all will get this $10,000 each year scholarship, and that will be with them for the entire duration of their program. So if they're coming for 3 years undergrad, it will be 10,000 each year. So that's 30,000. If it's a 2 year master's, accordingly. Now, that particular scholarship, what you need to keep in mind is it is not competitive. It is given to students. If you accepted in the offer, you are given that particular scholarship automatically by our admissions team along with your offer letter. But students need to watch out for the acceptance date, which is mentioned on the offer letter.
Mhm.
So they need to pay the tuition fees and enroll into the university before that particular date to avail the $10,000 scholarship. So most of our program tuition fees, except for some of the medicine and psychology programs, most of our program tuition fees is between 40 to 40, $344,000. So when we're talking about $10,000 scholarship, the tuition fees paid away come down to 30 to $33,000. So it's around 20-25% of the tuition already given as scholarship.
That's really great, like huge scholarship. And other than this scholarship, how about like what are the requirements for vice chancellor scholarship?
Yeah. So Vice Chancellor's International Scholarship, one, it's very competitive. Two, it's very limited as well. So when a student has a very high WAM, which is weightage average marks, very high percentage in previous qualification, they can try to apply online for a Vice Chancellor's International Scholarship. And our scholarship team assesses them based on merit criteria and gives the outcome in 2 to 3 weeks' time. Now, if a student is successful in securing vice chancellor international scholarship also, say for example $3,000 also, they can club both the scholarships. So early acceptance scholarship of 10,000 and vice chancellor international of 3,000, they can club together. So the first year scholarship will become 13,000. I'm just giving an example based on vice chancellor if they get 3K. But then subsequent years they will get $10,000 only, because vice chancellor is just one time scholarship, but they can surely
Mhm.
apply for high achievers can surely apply for it.
Definitely. Okay, so I think this is the all questions that we had, and we're almost at the end of the session. So I would like to request our viewers. So if there is any questions, feel free to write down your questions on our chat sections. So if there is any questions, then anyone can write down their questions on the chat sections. It was really great section, Jarna, like really helpful for the international students.
Sure, yeah, yeah. I just hope that if I can, provide some information or guidance to any good international student, I'll be happy with the time. And I think we have one or two questions in the chat box. Shall you, do you want me
Yes.
to read those?
Oh, yes. So, okay, so we do have a question from Danish. So, hi, could you please? I'll just read out the question for you,
Sure.
Jarna. So, hi, could you please let me know if we need to have 3 months bank statement for anyone who is applying student visa as an onshore applicant, being on 476, or we can just submit proof of balance?
Right. So I need to understand what is 476 visa category. I'm not very sure of. Is it work visa or it is some other visa?
So 476 is a visa that it's just like a 485, like
Graduate visas,
yes,
basically.
yes.
Okay. See, if they're applying, anyways, if they need to apply for a student visa after getting an offer letter, they need to show their finances. That's a given. So it all depends upon whether they currently have any visa where they can continue studying on and they don't need to apply for a student visa. We don't need bank balance, right? But if they have to apply for a student visa onshore, then we need to see the financial documents as well. And as per DHS guideline, they should be minimum 3 months old.
Okay, so it is the requirement of university as well that if a student has to apply for a student visa, you are checking the GTE as well, even
Absolutely.
though they do not have to show it in immigration. Is it?
That's right. That's so
Okay.
finances are required when they apply for student visa onshore as well. If they are going to study, they need to show their finances. So that's university's
Okay.
requirement and immigration requirement as well.
Yep, I hope Danis got his answer. So then we have another question from Alona. Hi, is there any age limit to study in Australia?
Well, overall, Australia, maybe Shirley, you can answer that more confidently, being
Yep.
on counselor side. But as far as studying at the university or applying for a course is concerned, there's no age limit as such. We don't look at the age and then tell you whether you're eligible or not. There are a lot of factors that we look at. Based on the documents provided to us, information and the background of the student being provided to us, and then a decision is made. But I'll again circle back to the requirement of GTE and student visa for sure. So you have to make sure that you understand immigration requirement to apply for a student visa and genuine temporary entrant criteria as well when you apply to a university, because we will assess based on those criteria as well.
Yes, definitely that's correct. And as Zerna has said, that it depends on case by case basis regarding the like age limitations. So it depends on courses as well, like what kind of courses you are looking forward to study, and it depends on university to university as well. So if you're looking, Alona, if you're looking for any admission process, then you can let us know. You can send us your documentation so that we can guide you in such a way that which qualification is equivalent for you. Yeah. So I think these are the questions that we have received so far, but is there anything that you would like to add, Jarna?
See, we've talked about the requirements in terms of studying in Australia, but one thing which is, very, very different, which international students should understand before they embark on a journey to study in Australia is that they need to understand the cultural difference. And they also need to understand that they are going to come into a world which is very different from their home country. So they need to prepare themselves mentally, not only to be with such culturally diverse group of students at the university, but also they need to understand the cultural uh, you know, engagement in Australia. So, what I'll suggest is give yourself time when you come to Australia. Give yourself time to settle down. Don't be in a rush to get into anything, be it part-time job, be it any other, clubs or extracurricular activities. First, understand what Australia or Sydney has to offer you before you take on additional, or whatever additional obligations, additional, this thing arrangements onto you. So that's only advice I would give you over and above what we already talked about.
Definitely. So, yeah, I think that's it, Lerna. So, it was a really good session, and thank you so much for answering all the questions. And I think we are at the end of the session. So, if there is
Yep,
any questions from our viewers, like if there is any question, you can still drop a text message on
yep.
our comment sections.
Absolutely happy to, help if in case there's any question. Otherwise, also feel free to email it to me, and I can try to help you as much as possible. But thank you so much for having me today at this particular session. It is always good to talk to a group of students who are interested in studying at the university and improving their skill sets. So, absolute pleasure.
Definitely. And it was a pleasure having you here, especially like on this live session. And I hope all the students, all the viewers have a good knowledge about Macquarie University and the like the courses they are providing and all those stuff. I think there is one more question from Steve. Can you tell me about recognize of prior learning? I have a positive, or I think that's different what he is asking, but still, if you'd like to tell about RPL.
Oh, yeah, I can tell about RPL, not about skill assessment, not the right person,
Yes.
but yes, recognition of prior learning. So, if in case you have studied a qualification previously which overlaps with the program that you've opted to study, you can always apply for recognition of prior learning. So, when you are filling up the application form, there's a section for RPL, recognition of prior learning. Put a tick there. So what our admissions team will see is if there are any units that are overlapping with your previous qualification, which you have already met in terms of the entry criteria, we can give you credits for those units. When I say units, they're subjects. So that you don't have to repeat those subjects. That may reduce the duration of your program, and that may also reduce, of course, the fee payment that you have to pay for each subject will go down as well. So, yeah, feel free to do that if you think your qualification may overlap with the program you have opted for.
Okay. Okay, I think we can wrap this session up, Jarna. So
Sure.
thank you so much for your valuable time, and it was pleasure having you here on our live session, and looking forward for such a lovely and live session again in our upcoming days. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Thanks, Charlotte.
Yeah. So at the end of the session, I'd like to let our viewers know that we are located in Parramatta, Sydney, Bankstown, and Macquarie branch. So feel free to visit us if you have any queries. You can reach us out via phone calls or visit us personally as well. Our office is open from 9:30 to 6 p.m. Sorry, my bad, 6 p.m. Anytime. Thank you.